weird. Jean said this is where the event is supposed to be, but there's nothing here. Oh yeah, now that you mention it, this is where our journey official... That sure brings back memories. Kinda nostalgic. Even after all this time, this place hasn't changed one bit. Look who's getting all sentimental and Well, we still need to find Jean and the others. Let's have a look around. Yeah. Paimon remembers there used to be hydro slime hiding here, but it's gotta be gone now, right? Whoa! A fungus? Are those supposed to be in Mondstat? Not that these are a real threat to us at this point, but still!
They said this isn't hard enough. Should I grab a geofishing for the next round then?
Is this really the time to get competitive?
Did you hear that, Paimon?
Huh? Why did someone hang Jumpy Dumpty Mine? What? But they don't look alike. You can't even eat them. Hold on. Could this be an event set? Not a lot of people come here, but a bomb. Still a bomb. If someone gets hurt by accident, Klee's gonna get marched off to the confinement room. Yeah, but let's take a picture with the camera before we take them down. First the fungus, and now this? Something weird is going on. If it turns out not to be event-related, it'll be good to have a You couldn't just compliment Paimon's smarts like a regular person? Whatever. Paimon will take it. Better than being called emergency food, at least. Anyway, it never hurts to be careful. We've seen through lots of tricks, but we've also gotten the short end. Paimon likes the optimism. Come on, let's get that picture taken. Then, get rid of these bombs. Fireworks! Guess there was no danger after all. Were those meant to welcome us or something? Anyway, we should be good here. Let's keep going. What was it Paimon said back then? Ah, right! Oh, wow! That's a statue of the Seven! Among the seven gods, this god controls the wind. You remember It's weird, though. It seems like there's something different about it. Let's take a closer look. Paimon's next line was...
As we all know...
Right! Poetry and language flow like the wind! Look! There really is something wrong with this statue of the Seven! It's fish! But it's so light! Wonder why? Okay, Paimon's sure of it now. This can't be for an event. No one in their right mind would replace that huge statue of the Seven with a statue of Klee! Yeah, and well made, too. But that's not the point! You're not weirded out by this? Oh, you're right. This must be Alice. She could put 100 Klee statues all around Mondstat, and Paimon still wouldn't be surprised. That explains the other weird stuff we saw up till now, too. She must have asked Jean to write that letter so we'd lower our... No, wait! Maybe that was Alice just pretending to be Jean. Paimon wouldn't put it past her. Yeah, Paimon's not upset. The surprises were nice, and this statue is pretty cool. Plus, we got to take a little trip down memory lane. Makes Paimon feel all warm and fuzzy. What do we do now, though? There's nobody around. If this is some sort of elaborate prank, guess we're... Huh? What does that mean? Oh, yeah. And there could be even more. Guess all there's left to do... Maybe it'll give you the power of pyro or something!
The world opens itself before those with...
Sparks and splash! You were right! Alice is full of surprises. Good guessing on your part. Let's keep going and see what else we find.
Go now.
Yes, now, or it'll be too late.
Ooh! It's the Volin!
There's something huge in the sky.
Okay, we all remember what Paimon said back then. Anyway, since he's here, that must mean we're about to meet another old friend in these woods. Look! There he is! Back then, the Volin was tainted by the Abyss, and Tone Deaf Bard was about to heal his wound. But your control over Animo wasn't so great, so they noticed you and ran off. But you've had tons of practice since then, so... Sure. Here goes... Well, this is awkward. You really hung Paimon out to dry there, Traveler.
Apologies. You were just even livelier than I remembered. And I wasn't.
Which means mission accomplished on the surprise front, I suppose. What do you say, Alice? Hi, Mark.
Oh, yes, indeed. That was fantastic.
Huh! So you were watching us all along. And... Hold on. You can't just record people like that!
What a delightful reunion. Welcome to Mondstat, you two. The place where it all began.
Whoa! This is way too many books! Considering this library organizing job was classified as a premium commission, Paimon came mentally prepared, you know? But seeing it in person is something else.
Why, if it isn't Cutie and Paimon? What brings you back to Mondstat? Let me guess. You missed me so much you just had to come visit. Is that it? You've become quite the flatterer since we last saw each other, haven't you?
Found you! We were starting to think you weren't clocking...
Well, I wasn't planning to. But then, Catherine mentioned someone had finally accepted an important commit. Might you both be here for that very... music to my ears. Now, as you can see, a certain anonymous benefactor has donated a large amount of books to us. Imagine my surprise when a glance down the book list revealed that each one would be an entirely new addition to our collection. There are books of all different kinds, including quite a few that are banned. Troublesome, I know. So this wasn't an odd job I could trust to just unsorting them myself. My, what a headache that. All that to say, I'm very relieved to see you here. I would treat you to some tea, of course, but looking at the state of this place, perhaps...
Don't worry. Just leave the commission.
You're as sweet as ever, Paimon. Well then.
Finally! We made... What even are some of these books? A Hilichurl's Guide to Running for Your Life? Do Hilichurls even read? Oh, and what's this one? The Little Witch's Dictionary? Huh. That title's kind of suspicious. Huh. Well, witches always make Paimon think...
Yoo-hoo! Looking for me?
Alice? How did you get in here?
You must not have noticed, Paimon. I wasn't the one who barged in at all when you opened that dictionary.
What? Ugh. Paimon knew that book had issues.
Have you ever read the storybook The Little Witch and the Undying Fire by... Splendid! That makes things easier to explain. This book was written as a dictionary for that other story. The actual contents of the two aren't related at all, though.
Ugh. That explanation makes things even more confusing.
Oh dear. Where should I begin? You know the promise the Hexen Circle made to Varka at the Tripartite Conference, yes? Namely, that in Mondstadt's greatest time of need, the mages would return and lend their aid to the nation? Well, waiting around for danger to descend upon the land isn't exactly our style. Rather than a scenario where we jump in and save the day out of nowhere, it makes more sense to lay the groundwork over time. That's how Em put it. Besides, who knows when such a crisis could occur? It could be in the next life, or even tomorrow. So, I gathered the mages together to write this dictionary. Of course, it had to be under the guise of being related to that storybook. Otherwise, I would never have been able to get them in one place. Well, we looked into Barbie's scryglass and came up with a series of tasks tailor-made for the people of Mondstadt. They're all in this dictionary. Striving toward a common goal, overcoming obstacles alongside trusted companions, becoming better versions of ourselves. That is the best defense against what dangers could lie ahead.
Oh, you make it sound like something bad is actually about to happen.
Now, I never said that. But still, we are talking about trusted companions here, Paimon. And when we speak of a person who could be considered a friend to all in Mondstadt, I'm afraid the pool of options consists...
Wait, the huge book donation? That was just an excuse to get us here, wasn't it? We had to spend ages sorting through them, you know?
Oh dear, I never could have imagined you would need to go to such trouble.
Uh-huh. Sure you didn't.
Well, this is an important book. I couldn't just bring it into Teyvat without taking any precautions. Much better to hide it in plain sight, you see. That's why I donated all those other books to the library. Besides, it's not like this is a bad thing. Just think of it as an excuse to reunite with old friends. And as a favor to your dear Aunt Alice.
Okay. If the goal is to help the people of Mondstadt, then we'll take the dictionary. And the next time we run into our friends, we'll pass your tasks and stuff along.
Wonderful. Then I'll let you get to it. Lovely to see you, dearies. So what's the verdict? Did our special welcome ceremony meet the mark?
It was very... you, that's for sure. Paimon can't believe the Knights of Favonius let you go. Where'd you move the real statue of the Seven?
Oh, gracious me. You still haven't figured it out. If I had actually done something to that statue, I would have been locked up in the teensy room next door by now.
So, what's going on here?
Ah, now you're asking the right question.
The answer lies over here.
Nicole, you're here too?
That's right. Our two lovely mages are here on vacation. In fact, everything you just experienced, but I'll leave the explanations to Miss Nicole. I trust you're well acquainted with her skill at explaining all manner of magic and fun.
Yep. We experienced that firsthand.
This bubble is a new kind of magic Alice and I invented. Inside it is a small world created using a person's memory. When you were busy reading that invitation to Mondstat, Alice took the opportunity to place you within it.
Oh, we didn't even notice.
Huh, I wouldn't be much of a dodo king if I couldn't pull off a simple trick like that.
All that to say, the things you saw weren't real. They only exist within this bubble. Ah, except for Venti and Dvalin, of course. I invited Venti, and he brought the dragon.
It's not every day you get to relive the beginning of your journey. It feels like listening to a verse you haven't heard in a while. You might not remember the name or melody, and still, you start humming along in no time. I'm assuming your trip down memory lane was similarly nostalgic.
So does Jean know about this or not? Paimon's starting to think that invitation letter was a...
Oh, no. Jean wrote that herself, I assure you. I wouldn't dare forge a letter under her.
Huh. So you do draw the line.
Ooh. Not with my daughter in her clutches. If you ever become a mother, you'll understand.
Oh, come on! It's not like she's being held hostage.
The point is, this magical bubble was created at the request of the Knights of Favonius. With the expedition in Nodcry coming to an end, the Knights will be home before long.
Varka thinks it's better to give people time to reunite with their families, so he told Jean to hold off on a huge welcome reception. Of course, Jean has her own thoughts on the matter. You can get the details from her.
As things stand, we're keeping the reception small, but there will be some activity. This magic bubble is one of them. The returning Knights can use it to catch up on all the major events that have occurred in Mondstat while they were gone.
Simply put, it's a reenactment of your adventure.
Indeed. The ultimate goal is for everyone to have a chance to take part in the excitement.
So, what about the parts that took a few, creative liberty?
Oh, those were there because the bubble world is still being transcribed and debugged. Memories are easy to extract, and the resulting information density is fine, but it's not exactly as... If memories are the only thing used to recreate a world, it's hard to ensure a lack of deviations. For example, these memories belong to Venti. But even for someone like him, whose memories are quite reliable, there is bound to be some Not to mention, on their own, memories lack an interactive component. So I added some self-deductive capabilities to this magic, which exacerbated the instability issues, unfortunately.
Yeah. That,
For instance, say we're recording memories and Lisa happens to fly into a fury over some overdue library books at the same time. A powerful thunderstorm might unfold in the bubble world out of nowhere. Luckily, there's a simple solution. We just have to send someone to scout things out first. Then we can manually correct anything that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Plus, once the recording is complete, the magic will loop, so there won't be further deviations, and we won't need real people. And before it's all said and done, we'll be sure to cover up.
Much appreciated. Otherwise, buying around at the Angels share is gonna be much more of a hassle.
like you're the one who does the buying.
It's settled then. We'll allow you to be the first to relive these precious memories, and in return, you'll be our eyes on the
Yeah, but it sounds like fun. Besides, we already snapped a few pics of some potential bugs. Like that.
Oh, no, Paimon. That one was entirely intentional.
What?
As the creator of this world, I'm afforded a bit of creative license, I would think. Creating this bubble was no easy task. Is a little personal touch too much to ask?
I doubt anyone will mind. As far as I'm concerned, you're free to do as you please. This is Mondstat after all.
Oh, well. Paimon can't argue with that.
In that case, we'll be counting on you to continue testing our work to...
It's still early. why not check out the other events at the testing grounds in the meantime? Jean should be there.
Yeah, we'll go say hi. She's the one who invited us after.
I think nothing of it. Now that the world is at peace, you two are overdue for a vacation.
Development appeared a little late, but his sparks and splash triggered a deep magical reverberation. Background music needs to start half a second later. I should put another instance if now the diagnostics are failing. I just don't get it.
Nicole, dear, stop fretting. You're projecting rather loudly.
Every detail is within your control, huh? Color me impressed.
Yes, good work. We'll go with this.
Hey, Jean! We're here!
Honorary Knight, Paimon, welcome back. Did you have a good time in Alice's magic bubble?
Yeah, it was so cool! Paimon's looking forward to getting back.
I'll be sure not to spoil it then. I imagine you might be interested in what went into the preparation, though. I loved the idea when Alice brought it up, but I knew it would take a great deal of reenactors. Not to mention recruiting Luckily, Venti, or rather, Lord Barbados, agreed to help. After that, I opened up recruitment to the people of Mondstat. Countless volunteers jumped at the chance to reenact your stories, Honorary Knight. It took me 2 days just to read through all the applications. A lot of people have gotten involved, and that includes quite a few familiar faces as well.
Are you one of them?
Yes, according to Alice, I'm one of the leading ladies.
Yeah, there are other activities here too, right? Sounds like there's a lot on your plate.
Well, such are the duties of the acting Grandmaster. I mean, for those of us who have been holding down the fort, so to speak, the return of the expedition team is a matter of great importance. The Grandmaster contacted me and said not to organize a grand reception on their behalf, and I understand where he's come. I'm sure the team will be exhausted upon returning, and making a big fuss might just tire them out further.
Paimon's sensing a butt in there somewhere. Tone-deaf Bard said you had other ideas.
Yes, well, those of us here in Mondstat have been awaiting their return. Resuming normal life after such a long expedition will be quite an adjustment. An official welcome might help them feel at home. Not to mention, it's a chance for the people to show them no matter how long we've been apart. Yes, absolutely. And I don't know, perhaps I am overstepping. I just hope the Grandmaster isn't.
So, besides the whole bubble thing, what have you got planned?
Here, I'll show you. First, this is an arena we've set up to showcase Favonius. The cavalry company is in charge of this one. I'm sure there will be some exciting spark.
Ooh, that means we'll get to see Kaya on...
That's right. Compared to me, he's much better at keeping things interesting, even when the subject matter is quite serious. I can think of no better person.
You're as modest as ever, huh, Jean?
Over here, we're running a Wind Glider speed shooting event. It's not hard to guess who's in charge of this one, I'm sure. Yes, her gliding skills are top-notch, and she's quite creative when it comes to event design. Be sure to check it out when the... There's also a booth that will serve as a reception area, where people can relax and chat with each other. A few simple games will be available. Hertha is in charge of the drink stall, but we're still working on the menu.
Well, the more alcohol options, the better, I think. The expedition team likes the strong stuff.
Fair point. Huh?
What's with that
Grandmaster, you're back? Has the entire team returned as... Well, apologies, we're not quite done with the preparations, but I assure you, it's limited to what you see here. We're exercising the
Hey. Relax, Jean, relax. No need to get all formal with me. I split from the group to make it back first. Pretend I'm not even here. Besides, I knew you'd want to surprise us, no matter what I said.
Oh, I see.
If I didn't tell you to put on the brakes, I knew you'd go full throttle and start planning the next Ludi Harpastum or win. You put so much pressure on yourself, diving headfirst into the deep end without thinking about how much is on your plate. I just didn't want you to overwork yourself, that's...
Oh, wow. That's actually really nice of you.
Well, looking out for my fellow knights comes with a job. As for the event, food, drink, and fun in spades without too much pomp and circumstance. Yeah, just like a Mondstat festival should be. The team will feel at home and know...
That's far too kind, Grandmaster. But
I mean it, you know? Just trust my judgment. Anyway, you two got a sec? Now that I'm finally back in my old stomping grounds, let me treat you to a meal. I'll even introduce you to the Good Hunter's secret menu.
Oh, nice. Paimon's never heard of that.
What's wrong?
actually, Grandmaster, there's a few things I'd love for you to look over. Since you seem to have some time to spare, perhaps we could go back to headquarters first.
Hang on. You know this is just a pit stop, right? There's not going to be time for me to take over the whole shebang.
Of course. Still, you are...
Oh, you have no idea what this means. I'll be trapped in the office until tomorrow morning.
It's not that dramatic. If we make haste, we'll finish before dawn.
As much as Paimon wants to check out that secret menu, you should at least do some work.
All right, all right. Oh. Guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Hello there, Honorary Knight and the Helper in White.
It's so nice to meet you, Honorary Knight and Lady Paimon. Glenfidia, at your service.
Looks like you're in a good mood, Hertha. And nice to meet you, Glenn. By the looks of things, you're about ready.
Indeed. Thanks to some help from the Angel's Share and the cat. Besides all the classics, we also mix cocktails to order.
Cocktails? Do you remember that time we served as bartenders at the Angel Share? And recently, you've also shown off your skills at the flagship in Nokrai. We sure have come a
The only thing is, our current drink selection is quite traditional, and it stopped feeling fresh long before the expedition began. But I need to get back to handling resident requests, and Glenfidia doesn't have much Honorary Knight. If you're free, could you maybe help us out for a while, just until my
You'll be amply compensated, of course, plus double pay for overtime, depending on your performance.
Paimon's not sure what performance metrics are, but she's happy to help with the lift as the best guide into that. Paimon needs to keep up with the changing times. Besides, this'll give her the chance to explore the city and...
Working with you two is
I'll do my best to support Lady Paimon in any way I can. I'm very skilled when it comes to things like portioning out drink.
All right. Well, if you're ready too.
Oh my, it looks like Hertha has gone back to her duties, and Glenfidia is away somewhere too. Has our dear cutie taken complete... Wonderful. Now I can order without worrying about ending up with one of the logistics company's specials. The type of drink that keeps you awake all night, leaving you no choice. That's right. I'm just a carefree If only there weren't so many people with overdue books, and I didn't have to go door to door to get them back. I would have dropped by to chat with you sooner. Let me think. I don't really have a favorite, and if it could help me nod off to sleep later, that would...
Here's a snow-kissed dawn. I hope you like it.
It's delicious, cutie. Pleasantly tart, sweet, but not cloying, smooth on the palate, with a refreshing... If anything, though, I seem to be feeling a little more... Perhaps you've unwittingly unraveled Glenfidia's secret and concocted an... Don't worry, there's no rush. Your eyes are aglow with curiosity, as though you have... Let's chat for a while. Take your time. Inspiration... Since you're asking, it's been a bit of There's a chef, fresh out of training in Fontaine, who's recently taken up a position at the Goth Grand Hotel. She borrowed our most valuable book, the Mondstat Millennial Compendium of Apparently, she plans to use dessert-making techniques to improve the taste of various savory dishes. Something about... Indeed. And judging by the results, she rather overdid it with the caramel sauce. What should have been fragrant meat slices ended up tasting Caramel sauce is such a fantastic ingredient, you know? It never fails to please when added to drinks. Sometimes, I even add a spoonful. Improving food, I suppose, isn't always about being as creative. Oh, this? That was for another of today's little errands. A large contingent of the expedition team will be returning to Mondstat soon. They've been away for such a long time, so there's a good chance many of their Jean asked me to visit some of their families to try and get a better understanding of what new ingredients might satisfy our knight's change. Well, they've all devoted their blood, sweat, and time to protecting Mondstat. They deserve some care and respect. Based on what I gathered, the most requested ingredient was cacahuatl from Natlan. It seems like our knights have developed a taste for cocoa. In their letters, many of them mention that they rely on cocoa to keep themselves energized. I've tried hot cocoa myself, and I must say, I find it just as effective as coffee when it comes to staying. Lately? So careful with your wording, cutie. Is that because you think that I, too, might have changed since we last met? Or simply because you can't remember? Not bad at all. A flawless and back in my student days, I might have been drawn to every new and exciting ingredient I read about, constantly expanding my horizons and stepping out of my comfort zone. But now, I've grown accustomed. To paraphrase a certain Leo-Ed legal expert, my life is fast approaching a state of living out one's golden years in peace and comfort. I'm no longer so easily moved by adventure and excitement. I'm sure you remember, a few years ago, when we were adventuring together, you found me that sweet-tasting alchemical ingredient. Well, my tastes haven't changed. Surely you're not suggesting I'd take this opportunity to sneak off on a little countryside wander? My investigations into Mondstat's lesser-known drinks took me to Dawn Winery, where I had a little chat with the head housemaid. On my way back, I ran into Emmetall out on patrol. She'd encountered some monsters she didn't know how to deal with, and in her desperation, asked for my help. I accompanied her on a detour to Wolvendom to teach some raving hounds a lesson. It's been a while since I've had... As expected, cutie, your brilliant mind has grown even sharper. Just a few gentle hints were all you needed.
Finished. A new creation. This should help you fall asleep quickly and guarantee you peaceful dreams. It's called a slumbering rose. From the colors to the choice of glass, everything's been carefully crafted. You've turned it into a completely based purely on appearance. It's exactly my style. Time to see how it... full. It's like savoring an exquisite dessert before taking a stroll along the shore of Cider Lake. With a gentle breeze caressing your... I no longer feel drained of energy, but neither am I overstimulated. I'm actually starting to feel a little sleepy. As a bedtime drink, this is pure so good, in fact, that I feel like writing an article to extol the virtues of this slumbering rose. I can use it as an opportunity to crown you the new maestro of mixed... Speaking of lakeside strolls, why don't you join me next time there's a clear, warm day, when the sun is bright but not too harsh? Any walk would be more relaxing with you to talk to along the way. Then, when we get back, you could fix me up another glass of slumbering rose. And I'll make just as sure, when the time comes, I won't accept...
Good afternoon, traveler. I didn't expect the honor of witnessing your harmonizing talents here in both, actually. A lady calling herself a mage asked me to come manage her flower shop. At about the same time, the Cat's Tail commissioned me to create a new fragrance for their establishment. Ending today's busy schedule with a drink crafted by you in person is truly... I have faith in...
Care to give this a try, Miss Emily?
Your artistry is truly a... This tastes like a local variant of a Lumiduce Twilight. Am I right? The gentle and elegant taste, with its distinct layers combined with a hint of Mondstat's characteristic scent, offers quite a welcoming flavor, though in reality, there's no need for you to be so conservative. I have quite a high tolerance for flavors that stray outside the boundaries of conventional wisdom. Your drink was nice, but it would be perfect if you could make one with a little more depth. A cocktail that shows off your unique understanding. If you need time to mull things over, perhaps you might find inspiration in a little... It really is. A while earlier, I watched a whole run of fair weather clouds float by. Fluffy. In such conditions, one sense of smell is heightened. But not when scents are blended well, they naturally combine with the ambient context, leaving particularly powerful impressions. It seems something similar is true for mixology. As long as you choose a base of appropriate strength, the various flavors will blend seamlessly together. When mixed properly, all the ingredients work as one to create a most wonderful symphony for your Yes, that's it! Now I think about it, layering distinct flavors doesn't really suit my personal preferences. Usually, after work my friends from the Maison Gardiennage sometimes treat me to a few drinks. If it's before a holiday and my friends are in high spirits, I sometimes order a small glass of sparkling fruit wine. There was an officer named Terena who used to treat me to aged Corte wine. But since she was transferred to the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol, we haven't had the chance. In the world of science, high-proof alcohol is a widely used solvent. I've grown well accustomed to the smell. Besides, when I'm slightly tipsy, my state of mind changes, which in turn alters my approach to perfumes. It doesn't matter if the result is good or bad, it's all about trying something. So I don't mind drinks with just a little bit of alcohol, but I don't like anything too... Oh, thank you for asking. It's been going well, though this trip to Mondstat has presented some unexpected challenges. When I first got here, I was relying on a copy of An Overview of Aromatic Substances and the Human. To my surprise, my trial fragrance, which used valberry as the primary note, proved far too sweet in the context of a tavern. relaxing people so much that they ended up feeling drowsy. The bartender with the beautiful ears, for instance, fell asleep right at the bar. Let's just say that sweetness isn't always a case of the more the merrier. Even in daily life, I rarely eat sweet food, and I try to avoid fruits like berries that have a high sugar content. In the end, I completely eliminated Valberry as an ingredient and turned instead to Windwheel Aster, with some success, I might add. They're part of my reward from the flower shop owner. Important ingredients for making perfumes. Thanks to I studied Mondstadt's Cecilia flowers many years ago. In fact, the fragrance of Cecilia in certain fields has become synonymous with Mondstadt itself. However, this is a special case. Some cats are quite averse to the scent of Cecilia, and we need to be particularly mindful of their preferences. Windwheel Aster. The various parts of the Windwheel Aster plant can be ground into a powder to extract their essences. I then blended the scents from its petals and leaves. The result carries the intoxicating sweetness of mead, while still emphasizing the fresh notes contained within the flowers, stems, and leaves. I just took it for a little trial run at the cat's tail, and the cats seemed to really like it, while the clients themselves found it extracting exquisite fragrances from ordinary overlooked ingredients. Oh. Just from our brief chat, you've already formulated a new concoction. Perhaps you possess a natural talent for this kind of creative work.
Here you go. A new and improved Emily-inspired Lumidouce Twilight. I haven't come up with a name for it yet.
The colors are cooler and more refreshing, and the fragrance is delightfully subtle. Are these bright specks on the surface the crushed petals and leaves? I'm sure it must taste wonderful. Let me try. In the link, your cocktail not only captures their form, but also the fragrance they carry. Therefore, I suggest you call this drink Windborne Bouquet. The winds and clouds of Mondstat swirl together in the glass, leaving behind... Really? Perhaps it's just a habit of my profession. I'm glad you like it. Now it's time to slowly savor this masterpiece. Thank you so much. This trip to Mondstat has been so rewarding. This is the most memorable cocktail. Once I get back to Fontaine, I will attempt to recreate this moment as both a fragrant once I've perfected the recipes. I hope you'll do me the honor of being the first customer to experience these new Until then, I look forward to seeing you in the...
So you're looking after the drink stand now. If I'd known sooner, I would have stopped by this morning. I've got to say, I'm getting curious. I've heard a lot about your mixology skills. I wonder what kinds of drinks you can mix with the ingredients Glenfiddia has prepared. I don't have much of a choice. It's just one thing after another right now. First off, the Knights of Favonia's annual combat assessment is coming up. And this year, the standards are higher than ever. As the captain of the reconnaissance company, I have to lead by example. At the very least, I need to rank as one of the top 3 captains in the practical portion. So, I've been intensifying my training lately. Being a descendant of sinners means I have to work hard to maintain my position. I'll have you know I've never once neglected my duties. Anyway, on top of all that, the General Affairs Company has invited a renowned champion duelist from the Court of Fontaine to come here for a swordsmanship exchange. Since I'm one of the captains with the highest attendance rate when it comes to these things, and I'm fairly skilled with a claymore, I was chosen as a representative. I have to prepare thoroughly to make sure I'm a serious match for the champion duelist. And then after the exchange, I need to write at least 6 different reports based on the result. Oh, I sure could. Anything that'll perk me up would be welcome. I'll leave the details to you.
One twinkling starlight for Captain Eula. Hope you like it.
Judging by your confident tone, I'm certain I will. Well then, I'll make sure to savor this thoroughly. Huh. Not bad. Sweet and tingly, with a delightful airiness. The fizzy water really brings it to life. I suddenly feel full of vim and vigor. But just one glass doesn't quite scratch the itch. How about something with a bit more bite? Don't hold back. You don't need to worry about putting me on the floor with nothing but a couple of drinks. Works for me. The first company hasn't assigned me any paperwork for tonight, so I'm free to catch up and try your new creations at my leisure. That's right. The merchant I got it from called it Romaritime Flower Fruit Extract. It has a very unique smell. Here, have a bottle. Oh, it's a necessary in that book Miss Magistus lent me. The Blade Dancer, 20 years on, it says. After a duel, a Fontanian swordsman will politely invite their defeated opponents to a banquet. To properly play host to Miss Clarande, I searched for quite some time to locate a rare goods merchant in Dorman Port who sold this juice. I had my doubts at first, but Amber said something that makes a lot of sense. She said that even if this custom doesn't really exist, following it still shows I've made an effort to understand Fontaine. Besides, who doesn't like trying new things, right? I'll treat Miss Clarande to this juice at our post-training banquet. Yes, I have. For a while, the situation there was difficult. A gang of outlaw engineers was messing about with some sort of mechanism control technology, attempting to manipulate ruin graders so they could rob merchant caravans. To make matters worse, several veteran knights who had been stationed at Dorman Port were transferred to my squad, and they weren't happy to be taking orders from that Lawrence girl. Leading them on this mission was quite eventful. It took 3 weeks of stealth operations in the snow, with no fires to keep us warm. before we finally located the enemy's stronghold. Those veteran knights faced the bitter cold and were almost taken down by the enemy's smuggled battle mechs. Fortunately, the battle went our way, and they had no choice but to acknowledge my abilities. Me? I'm completely fine. But thank you for your concern. It was mentally tiring for sure. But fortunately, the operation wore them down far more than it did me. They won't be questioning my authority again. If any new recruits try to make my life difficult, I'll just have my veterans give them a few friendly pointers. I guess you could call them a permanent solution, huh? If you want to know what I've been eating recently, I'd better start by mentioning the logistics company's latest revolution. They launched a diet improvement initiative and started distributing a form of standardized canned food to knights operating in the wilderness. In the past, we only had dry rations. Every mealtime we had to set up pots and campfires, roll dice to choose a cook, and take turns standing guard. In all honesty, it was a bit of a hassle. Now we just need to bring our standard field rations, comprising of 5 cans and 9 paper packages. We can heat the cans by the campfire, and then we're ready to eat. You did say, sounds like, right? Our canned food supplier has quite the stellar reputation, and their regular meals are indeed quite good. The problem is, in order to meet preservation standards, they have to make their military-grade meals wait. The vice captain of the 5th Company, who has a somewhat dry sense of humor, went so far as to say, this food's bad enough to bring down the wrath of Li Yue's stove god. In any case, after eating it for a week, my taste buds have gone completely numb. You can hardly blame the logistics company. After all, it is hard to please everyone. Our feedback has already been submitted, and they should be working on fixing the issue. Of course, having fresh meals prepared in camp by a dedicated company chef is still the best option. Oh my. To be honest, I'm eager to begin, but also a little nervous. Miss Cloran's combat style comes from the mysterious Marechaussee hunters. In the library, there are some old Fontanian newspapers from hundreds of years ago that give some idea of how formidable an organization it was. A more recent newspaper claimed that Miss Cloran was an orphan from an underwater kingdom, and that before battle she would perform rituals inviting spirits to possess her sword. Assuming these rumors are true, or that Miss Cloran's abilities might even be more extraordinary than that, it's important that I'm prepared for anything. Incorporating elements of swordsmanship into a drink? Huh. Certainly a creative idea, I'll give you that. I sure could do with an energy boost, but how do you plan to express something like swordsmanship with a cocktail? That definitely matches the description I read in that book. That's right. You really know your stuff. I doubt there's anyone else in all of Tevat who could come up with such a perfect metaphor. There's no need to make it sound so fancy. It's just an aristocratic variant of Favonius bladework, with a bit of personal... Firewater. In recent years, firewaters gained popularity the world over, following in the wake of prosperous Snezhnayan merchants. These days, almost every tavern has a signature drink that uses it as a base. You really are good. Why don't we try replacing the fruit wine with firewater? As for the alcohol content, that's not a problem. Plenty of the expedition team may have drunk themselves senseless with firewater. But me, I'm full of confidence. Brilliant. I'm looking forward to seeing how you do.
Here's your all-new Seafoam Sword Song, mixed to meet your personal preferences.
Oh my, what beautiful colors! And you even added my Romaritime flower fruit extract. The aroma is perfect, and I can smell the alcohol, but it doesn't stifle the fruity fragrance. Let's see how it tastes. Give me a moment to come up with the right words. I need to think I know it's unbecoming of a lady, and a proper connoisseur would savor their... But... I'm sorry, this is just... can you mix me another? Ah. Oh, no, what was I going to say? I've completely lost my train of thought. Whatever. I feel fantastic. This cocktail... Oh, it's the best I've ever had. I think I'm gonna head home and get some sleep. Don't worry about me. This is the happiest tipsy I've been in years. I'm still far from being drunk. By the time I've gone a few rounds with that, Miss Chlorinde, and completed my reports, I'll have been on duty for 3 months straight. Jean, the acting grandmaster. Isn't it about time she gave me some time off? I won't be forgetting this injustice in a hurry. You mark my words.
Suspicion While patrolling the area, I was sure I'd sensed a familiar presence, so I came over to take a look. And sure enough, here you are. If Miss Charlotte were to see you like this, I'm guessing she'd take 100 pictures and write up a report. Sword-wielding traveler's secret side hustle. Exclusive cocktails from Tevat's Explorer. You'd make the front pages of every major newspaper. And there'd be crowds of Fontanian tourists flocking to your drink stand. Luckily for you, I turned down Miss Charlotte's request to accompany me here. So you're unlikely to be seeing any scenes like that. Let's quietly celebrate this. And on that note, that look on your face tells me you have a lot of calm and effortless. I'm shocked to learn.
Your caramel blaze is ready. Try not to drink it all.
It sure lives up to its name. The color reminds me of a raging fire, while that aroma... It's quite strong. I'm all right. I just need a little time to get... As I recall, the last time I drank alcohol was at a wine tasting event that Navia invited me to last year. I only had a small sip of Sassica wine, and it was nowhere near us. From a purely rational perspective, alcohol can cause dizziness and impair one's ability to work. So it's best of... But when Miss Farina saw me off at the docks, she mentioned that Mondstat is the land of wine and poetry. Since I'm here, I thought I should at least try the local special. In fact, according to my intelligence, the captain of the reconnaissance company, who I'm preparing to spar with, has quite the refined taste for fine wine. Her publicly available battle reports are truly a sight to behold. Out of the utmost respect for her skills, I feel compelled to deepen my knowledge of Mondstat's wine. I truly appreciate all the trouble you're going to. Huh? Does that mean she's already finished her commission? Well, she's certainly efficient. Once I return to Fontaine, perhaps I can let Sijui know that I'd be happy to purchase her latest perfume. I'm not sure I'd say that. On my way to Mondstat, we happened to take the same boat. Naturally, we got to chatting. I've often heard Sijui praise her work. After conversing with her on the journey over, I must say, she is indeed a rare and she's gentle and composed, yet keeps others at a distance. Perhaps it's due to her profession. I find this approach ideal. It allows one to maintain a lasting sense of inner... Oh, thank you, but there's really no need to set anything up. Our work rarely intersects, and our social circles hardly make for a Venn diagram, if you know what I mean. Best to just let things take their natural course. When I'm working, I often drink coffee. But with meals, I prefer a lighter taste. Since I eat a lot of meat, the slight acidity of the juice helps balance out the greasiness. Over time, I've grown accustomed to the sour taste. After the swordsmanship exchange, the Knights of Favonius rather kindly treated me to some... I had 8 different meat dishes, and all of them were excellent. The portions were huge, and only the highest quality cuts were used. Everything was cooked to Of course, there was still room for improvement. When catering to tourists, the sticky honey roast and... I've certainly tried all the red meat dishes. I think I've had enough calories to sustain 3 days of vigorous work, so I've had to decline all subsequent dining invitations. To be honest, I can still taste the grease. There must be a way to cleanse my... I've seen a little. I took a stroll around the city the first day I got here. Navia's done some rather extensive research on this place. Many of the scenes and illustrations for the tabletop troupe were inspired by views of Mondstat. However, the way she describes the atmosphere in her world building is quite different from the real Mondstat. The deepest impression I've got since arriving here is one of swords and Perhaps because I've mostly just visited the blacksmith and the training grounds. Recently, the newer weapons and armor produced in Mondstat have been created using a completely different heat treatment process from those in Fontaine, with a higher carbon content in the surface layer. While this has slightly reduced their overall toughness, their impact resistance has greatly improved. These newer weapons give off a smell like overbrewed coffee. Perhaps it's because that scent gave me such a positive first impression. You see, Fontaine's signature metalwork is often coated with a protective agent that contains Marcotte. Over time, the faint fragrance becomes overly sweet. And for some reason, it makes my teeth feel funny. I don't imagine the scent of Mondstat's swords and shields would cause this. Of course, there is a solution to this problem. The next time you find yourself in Fontaine, there's another protective agent I can recommend. One that's as neutral as water, without any excess fragrance. If you also dislike being bombarded with sweetness, this protective agent should suit you well. Indeed it is. The knights codenamed Hazelnut 3 and Hazelnut 5 gave me this crest. They told me the design has only just been finalized. Apparently it's only presented to important guests. You're not wrong. I guess it's similar to how I can't remember the name of every but I'm certain you'll get to know them in time. They're clearly seasoned veterans. Even though they work desk jobs, they still turn up in full. After handling my affairs, they headed to the tavern for a gathering, saying they wanted to continue last night's duel and determine who had the highest alcohol tolerance. Drinking barrels of beer the night before, yet being able to work with clear minds the next day. So what you're saying is, while Mondstatters may seem carefree, they actually have an admirable ability to know their limits when it... Are you already planning the details of our hypothetical get-together? Based on my previous experiences with alcohol, I guess my tolerance is similar to Emily's. Fruit liqueur is probably my... So when the time comes, I think you'd be best off mixing similar drinks. All right. Even if it's still a bit strong, I'll do my best to finish.
All right, this new creation is called Leisure Time Lightning, a cocktail made exclusively for champion duelists. Enjoy! Have you added fruit wine? It tastes wonderful. This is ideal for me. There's a subtle saltiness that combines well with the tartness of the fruit and the sweetness of the caramel. Each sip balances delicately on the edge of the color of the wine also fits well with the name, and the lightning imagery contrasts with the fiery nature of the But where does the leisure time part come in? I see. That certainly matches the impression this cocktail gives me. Its unique aroma and taste will hold a special place in my memories of Mom. Do you think, if the chance were to present itself, you'd be interested in mixing drinks somewhere else? A cafe, for instance, or the hotel, mostly for Navia and Miss Farina's sake. Though obviously I'd be more than happy to try more of your masterpieces myself. I understand. I won't try to strong-arm you. In any case, I truly appreciate your help. Thanks to you, whether I'm facing the powerful captain of the reconnaissance company, or discussing strategy with the Knights of Favonius, I'll be in my best
Klee that Miss Hertha had found someone amazing to help out. Seeing you here, Miss Honorary Knight, Klee knows this must be the best drink stand in all of Teyvat. You mean this stand isn't already the best? Well, out of all the drink stands Klee's ever visited, Miss Honorary Knight's is easily the best. And no matter what drinks Miss Honorary Knight makes, Klee will definitely think they're yummy. Oh, you want me to be mean? But Klee could never be mean to... let me think. I know! I'll pretend to be Albedo! Whenever Albedo reviews Timaeus' work, his face goes super serious. And Klee can hear every word he says. Get ready for Klee's super amazing order! I'm going fish blasting with Mom soon. Don't tell Master Jean, though! So, Klee wants to order a fair weather frolic. Anything like a bright sunny day will definitely put Klee in a super duper mood. I wonder what it'll take.
Your Fairweather Frolic is here. Go on.
Wow! So, a Fairweather Frolic is this color? Purple sky. Is it supposed to be a bright, shiny night? Klee will take a sip first. Then you can think about it more carefully. Ah, finished. Yummy! Both sweet and sour. If Klee drank this while eating grilled fish, I could definitely gobble down 2, or 3, or 4, or even 5. But one drink isn't enough. Klee wants to try a drink that tastes like cake. Klee doesn't know what drink to choose. Why don't we decide together, Miss Honorary Knight? 3 square meals? Klee often eats 5 meals a day, sometimes even 7. Adventuring takes a lot of energy, and if I eat too much at once, I can't run so well. So, it's better to eat lots of smaller meals. Albedo used to prepare all Klee's meals, and my lunchbox was always arranged so neatly, just like a pretty painting. When Albedo's busy at Dragonspine, Klee goes to eat with the other Knights of Favonius. Kaya's camp is usually the neatest, while Amber sometimes camps in the trees. It's so much fun. Oh, and Auntie Hertha makes the best food. When my mom comes back, there'll be even more yummy food to eat. There's this one dish where she takes loads of different fish and makes them into little pudding cubes. It's called Rainbow Fish Jelly. Her Chocogo Crunchy slices are fantastic, too. It's her newest creation made with chocolate and cookies. They're a little bitter, but they're crunchy. They smell scrumptious, and they have a really sweet aftertaste. Whenever I eat them, I feel so full of energy. Next time, Klee will have to bring some for you to try. Yeah, when Klee gets back home, I'm gonna eat some salted nuts while reading my book. Klee used to eat cake after dinner, but Master Jean said it's too sugary, and it's not good to eat sugary things before bed. So, Mom got some advice from Auntie Barbie, and now she gives me nuts instead. She says they help my brain remember things better. Nuts don't have much flavor. It's like chewing on grass, but they're okay if you add a little salt. Yeah, Mom gave me an amazing book recently. She said I have to read one chapter every night, learn something useful, and then go to bed early. That book taught Klee how to make something called propellant. Now Jumpy Dumpty can go and bounce even higher. It's not hard at all. In fact, it's a lot like making bombs. You just have bedtime's an important part of Klee's schedule too. Mom sits by my side and tells me all kinds of wonderful stories. She has a lamp made of gemstones, and when she turns it on, it goes ka-bling and lights up the ceiling. Yeah, when something happens in the story, the lights on the ceiling make pretty pictures. Sometimes Mom falls asleep before the story ends, so Klee has to tuck her in instead. As soon as Klee learns how to use the lamp, I can come tell you stories, Miss Honorary Knight. Klee has memorized so many wonderful stories, enough to make everyone happy every day. This stuff? Mom taught me how to make it using the alchemy bench. A dash of sugar, then a lot more sugar, then some flowers from Mom's friend in Fontaine, star honey from Auntie Barbie, and finally, some magical jam from Auntie Tavia. Put everything together on the alchemy table, wish for the shape you want, then recite Mom's incantation, and poof! Dodoko shape 10! Klee can give you some Dodoko candy too if you want. And if you really like them, I can even teach you my mom's incantation. That way, you could make your own candy whenever you want. If you get stuck, remember to come ask Klee. When it comes to magical candy, I'm an expert. Oh yeah, Klee still wants to eat sweet things, like cake, for example. Maybe we could just go easy on the cream? Or add more fruit? Oh, right! That friend of Mom's who's always wearing glasses gave her a big bag of Fontanian Buell fruit. They're so round and rolled. Klee ate a whole bunch of those, and they were super sweet. But Master Jean said it was okay, because sweet fruit isn't the same as sweet sugar. So if Klee really has to eat nuts, maybe I can just soak them in some fruit juice first? Yeah, that Klee's looking forward to finding out how tasty your next concoction is.
It's done. I just know you're gonna love this new creation.
Wow! There's Dodoko candy on top! There's so much orange in this cup, and Dodoko looks like he's lying on top of white fluffy clouds. And the weather inside looks much better, too. Yummy! It's so delicious! Klee has to drink slowly. I can't just gulp it down, or I'll miss all the yummy flavor. Miss Honorary Knight, this is amazing! It's like you mixed sunshine with juice. Klee was so tired from playing, but now I feel refreshed. And warm. Ooh. You're the best, Miss Honorary Knight. Really? Let me think. When the weather's nice and Dodoko's happy, Dodoko will want to sing, right? And when Dodoko sings, Klee wants to sing too. So, let's call it Dodoko's Duet. Thank you! And thanks for making such a yummy drink for Klee. Klee's gonna go tell Mom that the best drink in Mondstat right now is Dodoko's Duet. Klee's gonna write down Mom's incantation and give you a copy, Miss Honorary Knight. Then you should learn magic too, so you can make all the candies you want. See you next time!
So Hertha's even roped our honorary knight into helping with this little venture. When we were discussing the drink stand earlier, I took one look at the menu and could barely contain my excitement. Now, it's finally time to sample the finished products. Can't wait to see your skills in action. Give me something that goes well with casual conversation. Of course they don't clash. A drink that packs a punch means you have to drink it slowly. And if you want to chat, then it has to go down smooth. So, something with a sweet aftertaste. A conversational connoisseur requires the perfect balance. The most suitable choice on this menu would be the Thorny Lake. It's a drink with a real kick that you can find in almost every... It's not enough to know the recipe, though. The key is in the mixing. Some bartenders choose to stick to the tried and tested basics, while others like to add their own. That's the spirit! Now, show me what you've...
Grandmaster, I hereby present you with this thorny...
Well, the color and aroma are certainly on point. But as for the balance of flavors... Not bad. You haven't overdone or skimped on any single ingredient. Though, unfortunately, it's a little too, polite. Perhaps I should have said modest. You followed the formula to a T, but if anything, you've played it a little too safe. Were you worried that deviating just a little might disappoint me? Hey, we fought side by side and dealt with things that even gods were loath to meddle with. Ours is a friendship forged in the margins between life and... that said, if you ask me, you can ditch the nerves and work your mixologist magic. I'm looking for something that shocks the senses. Mull it over, there's no rush. We can chat while you think. Who knows? You might just find some inspiration to mix in with your Ha! I like your style. Speaking of this garden, it brings back memories of something that happened when I was young. I like to find ruined guards to test my fighting skills, both armed and unarmed. Once, I failed to take down a stray missile, and it ended up destroying a watchtower on the city wall. As punishment, I had to run 50 laps around the city, repair the watchtower, and help rebuild the shattered walls in this garden. Indeed, among the misadventures of my youth, this is one of the most memorable ones. Mostly because that day, Crepus saw me covered in dirt. He took 2 bottles of 100-year-old wine and sent D-Luke, who looked even younger than Mika does today, to work out a clever way to get rid of Faru, who was guarding me. It was so hot that day, I could swear I was about to pass out. On a whim, I picked some mint leaves, put them in one of the wine bottles, and the result turned out to be surprisingly tasty. After Crepus tried it too, he was full of praise. He even wrote up an official recipe for my spontaneous creation. His customers loved it. Several summers passed, and Crepus kept writing letters about giving me a share of the profits, as though I could possibly accept. Yes, good old Crepus. Faru retired years ago, but he still gives me a stern stare every time we meet. He's a stubborn one. D-Luke, who replaced him, and then Kaya, who took over later, both performed impeccably. Changing times will always belong to the youth. He should have admitted defeat long ago. When I get the chance, I'll have Kaya show him the amazing progress the cavalry company has made. Well, let me think. I guess you could say it lacks impact. Even when following the same recipe, the techniques used to mix different ingredients can affect the taste. Sometimes, deliberately creating layers between spirits can bring out the different waves as each one hits the taste buds in sequence. In this regard, too, you've taken quite a tentative approach. Why not be a little bolder? Ha ha ha. You catch on quickly. No need to explain further. It's a treasured place that the Knights of Favonius have maintained for years. So it makes sense that it's become the go-to location for organizing such things. I heard that while the expedition was underway, you were a great help in giving those left behind the opportunity to put their energy to good use. Sometimes, I look through the photos I've been given from those events. Though unfortunately, there aren't enough to include everybody. My conclusion is that Mondstat needs to do more to popularize the camera. Pretty awesome, huh? It's like a hammerhead that you can fill with wine when you're not using it to pound in nails. It was a gift. Hoffman came up with the idea, Charles supplied the design, Wagner helped cast it. And about 10 or so knights chipped in to pay for the materials. They've been waiting to have a good drink with me. And this is my crucial weapon to aid me in a fair duel with them all. I'm the Grand Master, after all. I've been drinking a lot longer than them. I've practiced more assiduously, and I have a bit more meat to absorb the blows. So it's only fair to my subordinates that I drink a teensy bit more per round. Wouldn't you agree? Of course, some of them have been training as long as I have, and those ones won't be getting any special treatment. Take Hazelnut 3 and Hazelnut 5, for example. Both were skilled warriors who helped me deal with Eric back in the day. But nowadays, I have them helping Jean with miscellaneous duties. At today's after-work cooldown, they insisted on trying to keep pace. In the end, they lost our game of darts and ended up passed out on the floor. I've already told Jean that I won't be approving their leave request for tomorrow, no matter what. If I were in charge of organizing events, well, I suppose everyone would revolve around fine wine, or at the very least, there would be some sort of... For example, we could go all in on this drink stand and open it to the whole city, with every company of the Knights selecting one or more mixologists to compete against each other. It's only a thought. Can't let things get too out of hand. If I were to actually throw a grand banquet, Jean would come after me with her sword drawn. Even Frederica would launch a punitive expedition. While in Nodcry, we had a rule that knights must never get drunk while at their posts. Otherwise, it could lead to dereliction of duty, with serious consequences. Exactly. As expedition members return to their companies, my hope is that this rule will gradually spread to everyone in Mondstat, just like firewater and Smedina. These Nodcry delicacies have made their way into Mondstat's households and become part of people's daily life. Young people need to learn restraint. At the end of the day, no one should be biting off more than they can chew. Unless it's someone near my level, they shouldn't even be thinking about enjoying a light buzz when they've still got work to do. Most people would just end up a whole lot drunker than they'd like. You should come practice with me on weekends. Trust me, once I've drunk them under the table, they'll be swearing off wine for a whole week. Huh? Oh, feel free. Whatever you're about to do, I've got a feeling I've hit the jackpot.
Here you go, Grandmaster. A cocktail just for you. I guarantee you won't find this one too polite.
Such a spirited drink. How did you make this? Well, that burning scent of firewater. Oh, it's as if the very air were about to ignite. This is more like it. Oh, perfection. It's clear that once you let go of your inhibitions, your talents really That first hint of mint is like a cooling feint that masks the fire. By the time the sweetness dissipates, the firewater has already slipped in behind your guard, ready to deliver a powerful strike of intense flavor. Oh, it's exactly the impact I was... That's the most ingenious part. Firewater's greatest flaw is a lack of aftertaste. But the Smedina perfectly maintains the flavor at the peak of... It's hard to imagine something this good was created by a mixologist who doesn't even drink firewater. I think it has the potential to become a firm favorite in Mondstat and Nodcry. Iron Wolf. Oh, perfect. It's elegant, yet wild. Only you could come up with such a fitting name. Oh, I have an idea. Why don't we name our Knights of Favonius' drink stand after you? Let's call it the Honorary Knights Cocktail Shack. No time to waste. I'll go have a word with Glenfiddia right away.
Hey there, traveler! All wrapped up for the day? Paimon hears you did a great job holding down the fort while she was out delivering drinks with Glenfiddia.
Whatever the reason, the Honorary Knight is clearly one of the most talented mixologists in Considering how short a time she's been doing this, I believe that someday she has the potential to give the legendary bartender at the Cat's Tail a run for her money.
I fully support your decision, Grandmaster. The Honorary Knight has really put in the hard yards. The drink stand will remain open for a little while longer to provide a proper welcome to our returning expedition members. Then, once we locate suitable premises, We also plan to look at operating a permanent.
Hooray! Everyone in the Knights of Favonius will get to drink all the delicious cocktails.
Nothing short of what I'd expect from a true disciple of Hertha. You've really considered this thoroughly, Glenfidia.
Also, if I may, Honorary Knight, regarding the special cocktails you've developed, would you mind leaving the recipes with us? We'd like to add them to the official menu.
Paimon feels like there's something you still want to say. Let Paimon have a guess. Based on your personality, you probably want to introduce the origin of each different cocktail. That way, customers will know who inspired you to create these amazing drinks.
No problem at all. If you need, I can even have someone draft the paperwork on your behalf to secure you the rights to the...
I hope when we recruit some new bartenders, they'll be able to learn from your incredible... Even if they can't quite match your work. If they could be 2/3 as good, that would still make them industry leaders.